lovelies, welcome to my channel. My name is Laura and today I'm going to be talking about Marilyn Monroe's favorite red lipsticks that you can still buy today, and I'll also be talking about some vintage replicas of her favorite lipsticks. So let's jump right in and talk about some of the lipsticks that she wore. So the following is from a book called Red Lipstick, an Ode to a Beauty Icon by Rachel Felder. A crimson mouth was an essential component of Marilyn Monroe's bombshell identity. Her full lips and the soft, sulky voice that emerged from between them oozed sex appeal and a magnetic, ultra-womanly allure. Along with her platinum blonde hair, red lipstick was the cosmetic equivalent of the slinky, low-cut dresses and high heels that were her trademark. But it was more than that. Red lipstick served to enhance many of the characters she played in roles like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes and Chérie in Bus Stop. Red lipstick was the ideal accessory to underscore her character's femininity and seductiveness. The application of red onto Monroe's lip on film sets was methodical and strategic. Her makeup artist, Whitney Snyder, used several shades of color at one time, with a darker iteration near the edges of the lips and lighter versions toward the center to create an intensely accentuated pout. But the actress's seductive persona wasn't limited to just her movie roles. Even off-duty, a staple of her look was a liberal application of her favorite shade, Max Factor's Ruby Red. Although the brand is no longer available in America, it's still popular in Europe, where 4 wearable versions of red were introduced in 2016 as the Marilyn Monroe lipstick collection. One of the options is her beloved Ruby Red. Red lipstick was the ideal accessory to underscore her character's femininity and seductiveness. The exact red lipstick shade Marilyn Monroe wore is still available today, and this one I ended up finding on Amazon, and it is from the Max Factor Marilyn Monroe collection, and this one is called Marilyn Ruby Red. So I also was looking online and just doing some extra research to kind of see if there's any other shades that she wore. And I did find some information about some of the red lipsticks featured in her cosmetic case that was sold at auction. And the first shade in there is Revlon's Bachelor's Carnation. And according to Revlon's brand reps, the closest match available today would be their lipstick shade Love That Red. And then as well as Max Factor's Ruby Red was featured in her makeup case. She also wore Guerlain's Rouge. And this one is still available in their Kiss Kiss range, which I'll also be swatching, and it's called Red Insolence. And then there is also Coty New York lipstick in Vibrant, and Revlon Certainly Red lipstick, Revlon Hot Coral lipstick, and Revlon Kiss Me Coral, and this is the orange red in Something's Gotta Give, and Besame Cosmetics based their coral lipstick shade off of this Revlon Kiss Me Coral. And then there's also Revlon Blaze Apricot lipstick. So when it comes to the Besame Cosmetics collection from Marilyn Monroe, Gabriella created an exact match from Marilyn Monroe's personal lipstick collection. So she actually found these lipsticks from that auction. And these are exact colors from the time period. Red Hot Red is based on her look from Some Like It Hot. Carnation Red is based on many of her 1950s appearances. And Misty Coral is a match from her early 1960s film. So I'm gonna swatch some of the Besame ones next to the Revlons because I'm curious. And I'm also gonna put them on my lips so you can see the difference, as well as the Max Factor, because it will be kind of interesting if the Besame ones are similar to the Revlon ones, which are obviously way more affordable. And I'm also gonna be swatching Vintage Doll Cosmetics Marilyn Red, which is also a replica. So now that we know a little bit about the history of Marilyn Monroe's red lipstick collection, let's jump right in and start swatching some of these lipsticks. Hello lovelies, so since I'm already wearing the Marilyn lipstick from Vintage Doll, I might as well start with that shade, and this is a creamy satin, more of an orangey red shade. And it really is a nice classic 1950s shade. And so this one is taken from film stills, and I also swatched it from photos of her vintage lipsticks. So it really is a nice 1950s red. So I thought I'd start with that one since I'm wearing it now. And I'm just gonna dab it on a tissue. And And now I will move on to the next shade. And the next shade that I'm gonna do is the Marilyn Ruby Red from Max Factor. And this one looks like it's a bit more of a cooler red. And this one I got on Amazon because I don't think you can really get it at drugstores in Canada and United States. I think it's available in Europe. This one also has a really nice satin finish. And it goes on really smooth. And I do feel like this one is a little bit more cool than the Vintage Doll. And again, this is the exact shade that she did wear, so this one isn't a dupe in any way. As you can see, it's a really nice 1950s red. It's a bit more cool, with more of a blue undertone. And I really like knowing that Marilyn Monroe actually wore this shade. So I'm gonna blot this one quickly on a tissue and then move on to the next shade. And the next one that I'm going to swatch is the Guerlain one in Rouge Kiss. And this is another red shade that she wore. And this one is almost a little bit of a hybrid. It actually has more of a pink undertone. It kind of reminds me of Cherries in the Snow. This one's really nice, actually. I like it because it definitely goes on very smooth. It's really nice and satin, but I like the kind of pinky undertone with coral. So it's a little bit different than the Max Factor one. Again, it is a really nice red. I like it a lot, so this is the next shade. It's really nice. It has a really nice satin finish on my lips. And again, it's a really, as you can see, it kind of has a little bit of a pink hue to it, which is different than the Max Factor one. So I think it's best to do all of the red shades first, and then I will do the coral ones. So the next red one is a Revlon one, and this one is the Love That Red. And this is a classic one from the 1950s. And as you can see, it's a really nice red, and this one's super affordable. I think it was like $5. This is interesting. This one's very similar to the Guerlain. I really like this one too. It's so classic. It's almost like a mix between the Guerlain and the Max Factor. And this is a really nice red. Honestly, if I like took them all out of the tube, it's hard to say which one I like the best, but this one is such a classic red. It's a little bit less blue than the Max Factor one and a little bit less pink than the Guerlain when I'm looking at it now in the mirror. And the last red is the Besame Cosmetics Marilyn one, and this is the Red Hot Red, so it'll be interesting to try this one. As you can see, to me, even looking at it now, it looks like it has a similar kind of pink undertone. This one doesn't go on as smooth, and it's not as satin. I find the tip harder to apply. This is interesting. This one's very similar to, it's weird, it's similar to the Revlon. It'll be interesting to swatch them all on my arm next to each other so I can tell. It's not as satiny as the other ones on my lips, but I do like the vanilla smell to it, which is nice. But again, it's kind of almost a hybrid between all of them, so I can see how this would be one swatch from her actual lipstick collection. And now let's get into some of the coral shades. I'm just gonna quickly dab my lips. And keep in mind that everyone's skin tone's a little bit different, so these colors, it might be a bit different on you. I just wanted to put that out there. So to start, I'm going to actually try the Revlon ones because these are ones that she actually wore. So first, I'm going to do Kiss Me Coral. And looking at this, it's very coral, but not too much of a pink coral. So this should be interesting to try. This is actually a decent shade. I just love how easy the Revlon ones are to apply. I feel like I can put them on very quickly. They go on smooth. They're also easy to take off. I find the Besame ones, like, once I put them on my lips, it's like a hard to wash off. This is a nice coral. It's interesting. It's like a, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's like a nice red, but with a nice orange coral undertone with no pink. This is a nice shade. I can see her wearing this in the 50s, so I really like this one. It's really interesting. I've never tried this one. Such a unique Revlon shade. It's a lot more subtle than I thought, but you can definitely see the orange undertone. So I'm going to do a quick dab of that. And the next Revlon one, this is Hot Coral, which is a nice, and you can see this one is very bright, more of a pink coral. This one is nice too. I like it. It's a very nice 1950s red again. I think I like the Kiss Me Coral a little bit better, but this one, it's funny, when I look at it on the stick, I thought it would be more of a pink, but it's a really nice coral red with a nice orangey undertone. They're all very similar with like just slight subtle differences. But yeah, I thought this would be more coral, but again, this is a really nice 1950s shade. It'll be interesting to compare these to the Besame ones because based on my research, she actually wore a lot of these Revlon shades, and the Besame ones are actually dupes from the Revlon. It's interesting, with the Besame, they don't say which lipsticks they actually swatch. It's a little bit similar to the Lisa Eldridge, because she swatched Audrey's shade but didn't reveal which shade, and with the Besame, she just said she swatched Marilyn's lipstick or like makeup collection from the archives. And if you really dive in and start looking at some of the objects, you can see that there are in fact Max Factor shades, Revlon shades. And let's look at Carnation Red, and this is the Besame. Right away, this one looks like it kind of looks like the Hot Coral. Let's see. I just find the Besame ones go on so rough. This is so similar to the Revlon. It's almost identical. I actually like the Revlon better just because it's so much easier to apply. It looks so similar. I literally can't tell the difference between the two. The Moondrops collection looks so similar to the Revlon. It's almost identical. So that's very interesting. I'm glad I actually got to finally try this on because I've been sitting on this Marilyn collection for a while, but then now that I've dove in, I can actually find the shade. So the next one is the Misty Coral, which this one is quite different than all the other ones. So it'll be interesting to try this one. All right, so here's a Misty Coral. I was always excited about this one just because the shade is very unique. I could see how this one would be difficult with certain skin tones. To be honest, I don't even think it looks very good on me. It's very orange. So it's definitely different. It does, in some ways, remind me of that other Revlon shade, but it's a bit more orange. It's quite orange. Like, my lips are legitimately like a tangerine orange. It's kind of unique though. I mean, I've really never seen anything like it. I don't know. I think if I dab it and maybe put like a gloss over top, it could be nice. I don't know. But when I'm looking at myself in the mirror, like I see like a very, it's not pink at all. It's like a orange coral. And I think if I dab my lips, maybe it'll be a bit better. It looks a bit better now that my lips are dabbed. Okay, so let's start out with the red shade. So I will start out with the Max Factor one. And as you can see, it does have a lot of blue in it when you're looking at it on my arm. And then I think I'll do the Vintage Doll one next. And right away I can see that this one has a lot more orange in it. And then I'm gonna do the Guerlain red next. So this one looks very similar. It's a little bit different to the Max Factor, but it's similar. And then next is the Revlon I Love That Red. It's quite similar to the Guerlain actually, when you look at the colors. It's quite similar. It actually almost seems like it has better coverage. And now let's do Kiss Me Coral. The Kiss Me Coral actually, it reminds me a little bit of the Vintage Doll one. And it's very similar. That's surprising to me. It's a little more orange. And let's do the Hot Coral by Revlon. And that one is almost a hybrid between the Vintage Doll and the Kiss Me Coral. As you can see, they're quite similar. And now we'll get into the Besame. So this one is the Carnation Red. This one looks, it's kind of a little bit, reminds me of some of the Revlon maybe, or the Guerlain, a little bit of the Max Factor. And here is the Red Hot Red. This one's very similar to the Max Factor. You see it next to it. It's almost exactly the same as the Max Factor. And then I think I'll do the last Besame. See, this one's very orangey. It is a little bit similar to the Revlon, but it's the most coral, as you can see from all the shades. It's really interesting to see them all together like this. So you can see they're all sort of similar, but a little bit different. So have another look at all the shades. Let me know which one you like the best. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know which lipstick shade is your favorite from Marilyn's collection. All right, I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.